Hey guys, welcome to today's video. Today's video is my 20 in 2020 project pan update. It is very long overdue. I would have done a quarterly update, except that I took a break from YouTube. Also, of course, when I started this project pan and the goal to hit pan on 20 of these items, I did not know that there would be a worldwide pandemic. I did not know that I would have spent half of this year so far in quarantine. And I also didn't know that my makeup habits would greatly change. Even now with being back at work, there's just certain items I'm not wearing, like foundation and lipstick. So with that said, I am changing out some items. 3 makeup items to be exact, and I'll explain why once we get to those. I don't know if that's against the rules, but it's what works for me. If you want to see the intro to this project pan, it will be in the description box, but I will be inserting clips throughout this video so you guys can see my progress. Also, if you would like more to watch after this video, I will have all of my previous project pans linked down below, the intros and the finales. If you enjoy this video while you're watching, please do go ahead and give it a thumbs up, and let's go ahead and get into it. Here is my project pan basket. I like to keep this right next to my vanity, and I keep the items in here, A, so that I remember to use them, and B, so I remember what items I'm trying to pan. Otherwise, I would probably forget. I could always go back and reference an old video. But I explained in my intro that when I set out to do this project pan, this is the longest one I've ever done. I've never done a year-long project pan. All of my other ones have been maybe 2 or 3 months. I wanted to make sure that I gave myself a variety of products to use and enough to do a full face. The only exception is that I did goal myself to hit pan on 2 shades from 6 different palettes. It was a pretty hefty goal. I joked in my video that I don't know who I think I am because I don't even wear eyeshadow like that, but I just have so many palettes that sit that I need to get more use out of. So that's what I'm gonna start with. My goal for each of these palettes was to hit pan on at least 2 shades, and one of these I will be swapping out. I'm going to be doing a palette declutter very soon, and I just decided one of them should probably just be decluttered because the performance isn't there. I'll talk about that in a bit. The first product in my project pan is the ABH Riviera palette. I got a lot of use out of this when it first launched, but then it kind of just started collecting dust in my collection. It's a hot mess. I just looked at the inside. That is a dusty, sparkly mess. I've reached for this a few times this year, not a whole lot. I do love to pop this shade, the Bahamas shade, in my inner corner from time to time. And this definitely speaks summer to me, so I'll have to be a little bit better about using this one for the rest of this season. Estate and Coastline are 2 of my favorite shades in here. They're very easy for a neutral look, and I can also just use that one as a base. As far as progress goes, Palermo is the only one with like a little bit of a divot. The rest of them just look messy and dusty, as I said. Palm, I could get better about using as a liner as well. I do that frequently where I just use a bit of a shadow as a liner like I did today. This palette's like right in the mid-range for my favorite ABH palettes, my favorite being the ABH times Jackie Aina palette. I also really love Soft Glam and Modern Renaissance. That one I have hit pan on, so I'm hoping to do the same with this one. Next thing I have in my project pan is the Tarte High Tides and Good Vibes palette. I obviously bought this just for the packaging. The colors inside didn't even really speak to me. I'm just a sucker. I'm not a huge fan of blue, and that's most of that bottom row. I think I've used that once on my lids earlier this year. I still haven't tried to use the glitters in here, and I would like to pull out some of my Too Faced glitter glue to do that. I know that these 2 I could easily throw down for an easy eye look, maybe something quick for work, and I have to get better about using those. I do really like this shade. It's called Aloha Beaches. I just have to get better about using this one. I almost decided to swap out this palette, but I am going to keep it in this project pan just because I haven't used it very much. This is the Colourpop Misunderstood Villains palette. This was the first palette that I had purchased from Colourpop. I do have one of the Build Your Own, but other than that, I have singles. And now I have Just My Luck. I also have the orange one as well, the 9 pan palette, and I really like those. This one though, it just doesn't draw me in. And when I look at it, I struggle to come up with combinations, probably because so much of it is shimmer, and I do like to use a mixture of matte and shimmers. And you really only get those top two mattes, plus the blue, which I'm not gonna wear, and the black. So this is one I should start pairing with other palettes. I do really love Fast Seal, and I know I could do some fall looks with that. I decided I don't want to take this out of this project pan though, just because I haven't gotten enough use out of this. There's some of the shimmers in here I haven't even touched. This next palette, I said in my intro, I put this into this project pan as a gift to me because I love this palette. It's such a pretty mixture of neutrals, and you can also do little pops of color as well with the pinks and purples. The shimmers in here are so pretty. Again, it's a mess, guys. I don't treat my makeup well. I say that all the time. But these pearlized finishes, what are they called? Multi-reflective shadows. They are so, so pretty and so easy to just throw down and make an easy eye look. I love Teddy and Raw, and those are the two that I've predicted that I will hit pan on. And I'm getting there. I can see some dents in those shades. I said in my intro that I hadn't yet used the pressed glitters, and I still haven't. And I also mentioned that I hadn't used the concealer. When this first launched, I watched a video, someone recommended to tape that down, otherwise it gets covered in shadow, and I still have the tape on it, so I would still like to use that. I have a few more months to get that done, but I am confident that I will be able to hit pan on this one. It's probably the only one out of these palettes that I know that I will make my goals on. So here is where I'm going to swap things out. I had tried to use the Urban Decay Naked 2 once or twice while in quarantine, and it just didn't perform the way that I knew it should. I don't really love Urban's eyeshadow formula anymore, except that new one, that Ultraviolet, I think that's what it's called. That's really speaking to me, and I also would like to pick up Hey Honey at some point. Was that limited edition? I can't remember, but maybe I'll find it on Poshmark or something. But this formula is not my favorite, the original Naked formula. And when I attempted to use this, there just wasn't a lot of payoff in the mattes or the shimmers. And this was one of the first high-end palettes I ever purchased. It may have been the first one. I have an Anastasia brush in here. I don't know why that's there. But yeah, the performance just isn't there. And I was struggling when I tried to make a look with this. And it's pretty boring to me. I have so many other palettes that just perform better that are the same exact shades. So this is going to be on the chopping block when I do my palette declutter. Spoiler alert, I will probably declutter it. I know I will. I wanted to switch it out with something I knew I would hit pan on, and that is the Jaclyn Hill times Morphe palette. I've had this for maybe three and a half years. It is the original formula. Jenla's Reviews did a very in-depth video comparing this one and the old formula, and I think there was some drama because Morphe said they didn't change it. I don't remember all the details, but I have the original one, and I do enjoy the experience of using this palette. I'm kind of surprised I haven't hit pan on it already. I did reach for this more frequently around the time that I purchased it. Of course, now I have more palettes than I did back then. These two shades I do regularly use, and I will use them as a base for other eyeshadow looks. Another one that I think come fall, I will be more intrigued to use this. A lot of warm toned kind of shades in there, warm tone neutrals. And I never really have issues with this palette blending out, so I can do like really quick looks with this. I don't have to think about it too much. One more palette to discuss, and then we will get into face and base products. This is the Too Faced Chocolate Gold palette, and I really love this palette. Again, it's one that definitely got more use when I first purchased it. I guess that's true of a lot of my palettes, but some of them I do use once or twice in a video and then just completely forget about them, and that's why I need to do a declutter very soon. I had watched someone mention, it could have even been on Twitter or it was a video, I don't remember, but someone mentioned that when they went to open this and use it, it smelled kind of fishy and they knew it had gone bad, and I don't want that to happen to me. It still smells like chocolate yumminess. It smells exactly like a Hershey bar. It maybe isn't as strong as it once was, but that's kind of a good thing to me. I mentioned in my intro video, and if you're new watching me, if you've never watched a video of mine before, because I think I mention it pretty often, but I do work for Ulta. When someone asks me a recommendation for a palette for someone just starting out in makeup, depending on the price point they're looking for, I do recommend this palette quite frequently. It just has such a nice mixture of mattes and shimmers, neutrals with pops of color. It's another one that I think it's really easy to blend out. I don't have really any issues with the performance of this palette. I did use the Morphe times Jaclyn Hill palette today, and I also paired it with, I think it was Bougie and Cocoa Truffle. I can't even remember what I put on my eyes. Those are pretty easy neutrals for me to try to use up. New Money is another one that I do sometimes put in my inner corner just for a pop, but these other shimmers in here I do tend to ignore, and I need to start getting creative with this palette so that I don't forget it. So moving on to the face, this is the Tarteist Pro Glow. I got this in my first FabFitFun box, so it's about 2 years old. The first box I ever got was in the summer. So this palette has 6 pans in it. There is a powder contour or bronzer. That's how I use it. I don't frequently contour. There's also a cream contour, which I've never used, but I have stuck my finger in at some point. And then there's 4 highlighters. This one up here, it's called Strobe. That one does have glitter in it. So the one I use most frequently is Stunner. These 2 over here, I think are a little bit too golden for me and would be better suited on my lids. I just have to get better about actually using them for that. But Stunner, I was doing okay with for a while, and we're not focusing. Can we focus, please? Stunner, I was doing okay with for a while, and then I got away from it. I started using another highlighter in this project pan more frequently, so I have to get better about rotating them. But if I hit pan, I don't know if it's gonna happen. It doesn't look like it, but if I hit pan, it's gonna be on the shade Stunner. Now, for once, there is one item that I think I've been doing pretty well with. This I just wear when I am doing a full face of makeup, and when I started this project pan, I think it was about halfway full. This is the Becca Skin Love Glow Elixir. It is a priming oil. It has little bits of shimmer in it, but it never looks shimmery on my skin. It just gives a nice luminosity. Put a little bit on my hand so we can get some additional use out of it, but I did put it on today before my primer. It's fairly thin. It never feels too oily or too greasy, and it has a nice light cucumber melon fragrance. It's lighter now than it was when I first purchased it, but I do really enjoy this product. It's an easy one to use. It performs well with everything I put on top of it. I don't know if I would purchase it again after this project pan just because there's cheaper alternatives, but I do like it, and I know I can use this up. I can maybe use this up, I'm thinking maybe sometime in the next couple of months, this will be gone. Now this one I joked in my intro was my cheesy nacho. I like to say that about products that I reserve. I like them so much, or I spent so much on them, that I don't use them. And I will try to use up other things before getting to them. But what ends up happening is that the product that I really like or was trying to hold on to goes bad. So that's a habit I need to get myself out of. And I say that all the time, but it's in my brain and I can't help it. This is Tatcha the Pearl, and it's going, I'd say, about 1.5 years. It's been around for a while, but the performance is still the same as it was when I purchased it, and it doesn't smell funky or anything, so I'm going to continue to try to use it up. This isn't quite a concealer. It's just like an under eye brightener with a bit of tint. I believe there's 3 shades, and this is the lightest shade in Moonlight. I put it on today underneath my concealer. I do like to use this along with concealers that I find to be drying, just because it helps to give me a little more hydration. And lately, when I've been really lazy on work days, I haven't even been putting on concealer. I've just been putting on this, and that's what that looks like on the skin. So it just covers a little bit. My hand is like super tan, but my face isn't quite that tan. I said in my intro that I need to remember to put this in my bathroom so I remember to use it along with the rest of my morning skincare routine, and I've yet to do that. So this is my reminder to do that. So maybe even on my days off, even though no one's gonna see me but my husband and my dog, just for a little bit of coverage and just so I can use this up, because I still have 3/4 of this left and only 5 months to use it up. I don't know if you guys are gonna be able to hear it. I'm gonna try to take care of it in editing, but there is some mowing going on outside. I can't help that, of course, so I will try to muffle it out. But if you hear it, if you find it annoying, I do apologize. Hopefully it won't be there too long. Next, I have a foundation, and this I've barely used. I know I used it maybe in like January or February once or twice, but it is so light for me right now, I wouldn't be able to put this on. This is the Josie Maran Vibrancy foundation, and I really love this when I first purchased it, but I've just tried other foundations that I like more. I know it says on, I believe it's on Sephora's website, probably on theirs as well, that this is a medium to full coverage foundation. At least it said medium. It is so light to me. It's like a little more than a tinted moisturizer, and it's a very oily, runny kind of foundation. So what I think I would like to do with this, one, I can mix it with my DeBronzy that I have from Drunk Elephant to try to get it a better shade match for me right now. But also I could mix some into my moisturizer or with the Becca oil to just give me like a nice light coverage, just so I'm getting more use out of this because I haven't reached for it. And it's really hard to tell where I am in my progress because of the design on the bottle. I know I've used this a bunch, but you can't tell. It's built up on the sides. So I'm gonna have to keep working on this one. With being back at work and wearing a face mask for 8 hours, I haven't even been wearing tinted moisturizer, and I definitely haven't braved wearing foundation. It's just hot here in Maryland. It's humid. It is starting to cool off now though, so I'm hoping maybe in the fall, definitely in the winter, I wear more foundation, because if not, it's going to be impossible for me to use this. But like I said, maybe I can mix it with some other products just to get a very light coverage. Let me know if you've tried this foundation, what your thoughts are on it. This product I have changed my mind about since starting this project pan. This is the Beauty Bakerie Flour Better Not Bitter Not Bitter setting powder. This is just the translucent shade. It leaves a bit of a white cast, and also what I find happens with this, and I don't wear setting powder like I used to. I definitely don't do my whole face. I just do a tiny bit under my eyes. Maybe in my smile lines. I probably should have done that today and I didn't, and we're starting to crease. But what I find happens with this is it gets patchy, and maybe patchy isn't the right word. Like, it settles into my dryness and it looks patchy overall. It just doesn't look right. It doesn't play well with most of the concealers that I do try to use it with, especially compared to my Hourglass setting powder. That one's my favorite and I never have to struggle with it. This one, if I just over apply like the tiniest bit, then I will get that patchiness happening. The Hourglass one, I can put a ton underneath my eyes and it just wipes away instantly. This one just looks extremely dry. So I don't know how I'm going to use this up. It is about, maybe not halfway. Depends on where you shake it. About halfway. I'm gonna have to keep working with this one. The next two I've done fairly well with, especially this blush. This is from Laura Geller. It's the Baked Blush in Brighton, making sure I said that right, in Peach Delight. This had rave reviews at the time that I bought it, and it was also available at Ulta when I purchased it, and now the brand is no longer there. Actually, did the brand go under? I can't remember. Either way, I purchased this, I think during a 21 Days of Beauty because the reviews were so great. And I tried it a couple times and I thought it was too bright for me and it was too like shimmery for me. And I've grown to like it. I pretty much have forced myself to wear this. I'd say I wear it like 3 or 4 times a week. So maybe I've just gotten used to it on my face. Have you guys tried these? Do you like these? Do you have another shade that you would recommend? With that said, and using it so frequently, it doesn't look like I have. There is, I guess, somewhat of a divot. We'll see when I have, you know what, I think I've actually done pretty well because I recently rewatched my intro and it was definitely more of a mound when I did start this project pan. So I'm hoping I can hit pan on that soon. Who knows how much is left down there. I do apply this with a brush. I haven't really had any issues with it. Sometimes I put a little extra on if I want more pigment. I didn't wear it today, so I'll show it on my hand. It's like a sheer wash of color, kind of like the Orgasm formula from NARS, except not quite as pink. It's been a while since I've used that blush though, but from what I remember, it's pretty close and I do like it now. And then another thing I've done okay with, I say maybe once or twice a week I reach for this. This is from Fenty. It is the Killawatt Duo. Let's turn that around. Killawatt Duo in Lightning Dust and Fire Crystal. This highlighter I've had for a couple of years now, and one of them I know has hard pan, which is weird. It's definitely past its expiration, whatever it says on here. It's 9 months. It's definitely past its expiration, but I've had other highlighters longer in my collection and I haven't hit hard pan on them. So this is the one where I can see the hard pan, and that's the Fire Crystal. It's also not the right color for me for highlighter, and the couple times I have used that, it's been in my inner corner or on my lid. Lightning Dust is the one I will use as my highlighter, and it's a very pretty shimmery gold. Not my favorite in my collection, and I said in my intro that when I hit pan on this, I will be buying the Diamond Bomb. That is the highlighter from Fenty I've been wanting for a while, but I told myself I couldn't have it until I hit pan on this one. I don't have too much to say about this concealer except that I don't like it and I want it out of my collection. but I used it so little that I didn't want to declutter it, and I decided not to swap it out. I recently used up an eye primer from Too Faced, the Shadow Insurance, and I think I'm going to be trying to use this as a base, although it's a little too yellow, so we'll see how that goes. I'm a Milk stan. I love their products. They are one of my favorite brands, and they make some of my favorite products, like the Fiber Brow Gel and their liners. Both of those products are holy grails for me. Also, their Vegan Milk Moisturizer. I love it so much, and I'm about to need another jar of that one. But this concealer, I do not like. The first time I used this in a video, I thought it was all right, but then just like comments in the video and looking back while editing, I realized how dry it looked, and then all my other attempts to use it, it has really made my under eyes look way too dry and then also too yellow. I have tried to use this a couple of times just to cover up areas on my face. I've been getting a little bit of maskne, as we're calling it. I could also use it for that, but this is pretty much full, and I don't know how I'm gonna get through this. This one is pretty much done for. It has got orange hair on it. Oh yeah, I changed my hair color. I forgot to say anything about that. I did like this melt to orange. It looked really red at first, to a pink. Let me know what you guys think. I don't have the bright orange hair anymore, although that was fun and it had its moment. It was time for a change. I had purchased a bunch of products from Marc Jacobs all around the same time. I had always assumed the brand wasn't cruelty free, and when I discovered they were, I bought a few things. This, I also got some liners and I think a palette as well, relatively close to one another. I don't know what I was thinking when I bought this. It is a purple mascara. It's called Violet Incredible, and it has since been discontinued, but I didn't use it enough, especially for the price that I paid for this. And looking back, if I want a bright, colorful mascara, I'm just gonna go to someone like Colourpop to get it, just because I know I won't use it too often. And this has pretty much completely dried out. I have gotten some more use out of it this year, but I think I've gotten pretty much all I can out of it. Swipe some so you guys can see the color. I maybe have 1 or 2 more uses left of it. That was just what's left on the tip, but when I really try to go through and use it, it does feel it feels dry. It doesn't show up like this at all on my lashes, which I wouldn't necessarily expect it to. My lashes can be, I would say like they're a medium brown, but it really only looks purple when I'm in the sunlight. So what I was doing was wearing this over a white lash primer, and that brought out the color a little bit more, even just on my lower lash line sometimes for a pop of color. But yeah, this one is almost done. I wouldn't repurchase it. Well, I can't repurchase it because it's been discontinued, but I wouldn't pay this much for a colorful mascara next time. And then if you just watched my recent eye declutter, that sounds funny, eye product declutter, you saw my Stila Glitter and Glows, and I think I got rid of 4 of them. I think it was 4. And then I also had this one in this project pan. This one is the shade Perlina. I had to check because in that declutter, I kept calling it Perla, which is one of their liquid lipsticks. This is also pretty much gone. I did stain the tip of this with something at some point. It's been like that for a while, but most of what you see there is just built up on the sides. I have a really hard time getting anything out with this guy. Anytime I've tried to use this recently, I can't really get any out. It's done for. It's getting dry flakes whenever I do try to get any more out of this. I have no clue how to get the rest out of the bottom there. But again, like I said, maybe there's nothing really down there at the bottom. It could just be built up on the sides. It's like a white shimmery with like a blue, purple kind of reflect. It's pretty. Wouldn't repurchase it, but I am almost done with it. I think that just goes to show I'm pretty much almost done with it. That was a struggle to get that out on my hand. The next 4 products are ones that are going to be swapped out. 2 of them are going to be swapped out because originally I had 4 lip products in here, and I have not been brave enough to attempt to wear lipstick or even liquid lipstick underneath a mask. I know it would just end up looking like I had a makeout sesh by the end of the day, and I'm really trying to avoid that look. If you guys have been doing it, let me know, but I'm just afraid because I go to work, and once I'm there, if I mess something up, it would be really hard to fix. So pretty much every day I'm just wearing lip balm or a little bit of chapstick, one of those 2, but I really haven't been wearing any color on my lip, and I know that trying to use up 4 lip products in the next 5 months is unreasonable. I mean, I could do it, but I wouldn't be able to switch out with anything else, and I don't want to do that. That wouldn't be fun. So 2 of these I'm going to swap, and 2 of them I'm going to keep. The first one I'm keeping is the Jeffree Star Celebrity Skin. I don't purchase Jeffree Star anymore. I haven't really talked about that on my channel, but I'll probably talk about it more when I do my palette declutter. But I did at one time really love these liquid lipsticks, and I had like 20 of them. I had so many. I decluttered a bunch when I did my lipstick declutter, but I still have a lot. Celebrity Skin is one of my favorite shades, and it's one that I thought I would be able to hit pan on at least by this time, but again, I didn't know I wouldn't be wearing lipstick very much. It's just like a perfect tone nude. It's a really nice root beer scent. I do like the scent of these. It's like a mid-toned peachy nude. Very pretty. One of my favorite lip colors, and it is hard to see this here because again, it's all built up on the wall, but I do have some streaks in there. I haven't been reaching for it very much. I think a lot of those streaks were already there, but I do think, like looking down at the bottom, I can see the bottom part here. So there really isn't much in here left. I think it's really just what's built up on the walls. But yeah, maybe 6, 7 more uses out of this, maybe even less than that. We'll see once I kind of get to the bottom there. This one, I'm gonna go ahead and declutter. It is the Mermaid Blood. What are these called? Oh, velour liquid lipsticks. I had originally put this into this project pan thinking I would use it up on my eyes, and I tried that once and I didn't like the way it looked. And I'm definitely not gonna use this up as lip color. Not that I'm opposed to blue lip color, I just don't think this would be the right tone of blue for me. So I'm gonna declutter this, and I am going to swap this out with a setting spray. This is from Flower Beauty. It's the Seal the Deal Hydrating Setting Spray. I just went over all of my setting sprays in my collection when I did my face/base declutter, and I like this one. I don't dislike this one. I actually really like the way it looked today when I used it, but it's not like my absolute favorite, and I won't miss it once I use it up. It's about halfway here. The mister on this is super nice. I guess it's about halfway. It's right about there. The mister is super nice. It's very fine, really soft fragrance that I don't mind. And I mentioned in that previous declutter video as well, I don't use MAC Fix Plus because they're not cruelty free. So besides using this on my face, I can also use it to dampen my brushes. Anytime I have put a setting spray into my project pan, I've always been able to meet my goal because it's such an easy thing to use. It takes very little effort to spray it on, and then also using it on my brushes. So I know I will use this one up. Another thing I am going to toss out, I will probably just go ahead and declutter this one, but I am definitely switching it out for this project pan. This is Smashbox Spoiler Alert. One of my favorite liquid lipsticks, especially when I first purchased it. It's really just this for me. I absolutely love this tip. I do this Cupid's bow all the time, and it makes it so easy to get in there and do it. It's like the perfect size. I wish more companies had doe foots like this. But the reason why I'm going to declutter this, I love the shade, and like I said, I really like the formula when I first purchased it. This is drying out. It's dried out. And these, yeah, I've even seen this on reviews. These dry out quicker than other liquid lipstick formulas that I've used. And it's just not worth the hassle of trying to get in there and trying to get the last bit out. So that one, I am going to switch out with a concealer from First Aid Beauty. This is the HelloFab Bendy Avocado Concealer. It's in the shade Bone. I almost forgot to say that. I wanted this so badly for a while. It was on my wish list. I heard a bunch of people rave about it, and then I purchased it earlier this year, and I used it a couple of times. I also, around that time, got the e.l.f. Hydrating Camo Concealer as well as the Colourpop Pretty Fresh Concealer, and I prefer those two to this one. I didn't dislike this concealer, but recently, I'd say it was about a month ago, First Aid Beauty can no longer be considered cruelty-free, which is very unfortunate. And I had someone say on my last video when I spoke about them that Logical Harmony doesn't consider them to be cruelty-free, but PETA still does. I don't go by what PETA says. I go by Logical Harmony, Cruelty-Free Kitty, as well as Ethical Elephant, and all three of those sites creators, those blogs, say that they are no longer considered cruelty-free. So that's what I'm going to go by for now. If something changes in the future, I can put an update somewhere, probably over on my Instagram. But for now, I will be trying to use up my first aid products, and I won't be showing them on my channel unless I have to. I don't know if I'll be able to use this in the next 5 months, but I'm gonna try. Again, underneath my eyes, on my lids as a base to other shadows, and then I can also use it to spot conceal. It's gonna be hard to try to use this up, but I am gonna try to get through it. It's really disheartening to see that they were no longer cruelty-free because I like a lot of their skincare products. I have 3 or 4 of them. I actually have one sitting right here that I'm also trying now to use up. I've just been using it as hand cream because I have a full-size jar already. So no more first aid. And then the last thing in my project pan is a lip gloss. I know I haven't been wearing lip gloss like I used to, but it's an easy thing that I can like throw on top top of lip liner or liquid lipstick or lipstick, whatever I'm wearing when I'm filming. And this isn't huge, so I'm hoping I can still get through it. This is the NYX Butter Gloss. They make so many of these. I think there's like 15 different ones, but this one is in the shade Fortune Cookie. I had said in my intro that maybe the reason I didn't use it as frequently is because it's sticky, and it's not sticky. I can tell you that now because I've used it a few more times and it's been really comfortable to wear. So I will attempt to use this up within the next 5 months. We'll see how that goes. I tend to give myself goals that are unachievable, as you can see with me giving myself a goal of hitting pan on 6 palettes while having a collection of 40 or 50 others. I tried to be really reasonable with this project pan, and like I said, this year has been different for many of us from what we expected, but I'm still gonna try to get through this. I'm gonna try to finish this thing strong. At the end of the day, it's just makeup, and if I don't make my goals, that's okay, but I'm going to attempt to. If you guys have a project pan currently going on, whether you are a creator or not, if you just do it for yourself personally, I would love to hear about it in the comments. Are you doing a year-long project pan or a monthly one or a seasonal one? Also, if you've tried any of the products that I am trying to pan, let me know your thoughts on them, whether they are positive or negative, and any just creative ways to try to use them up. I would appreciate those ideas too. If you enjoyed this video, please do go ahead and give it a thumbs up. And if you would like to see me and more of my remarks, please go ahead and subscribe if you're not already. I thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you, and I will see you soon.